76. Samyutta Nikaya 12, Sutta 34. The second discourse on cases of knowledge. The Buddha was staying in Savatthi. Bhikkhus, I will teach you about the 77 cases of knowledge. Listen carefully and pay close attention. I will now begin to speak. Yes, Venerable Sir, the Bhikkhus replied to the Blessed One. The Blessed One spoke thus. Bhikkhus, what are the 77 cases of knowledge? Knowing that birth leads to aging and death. Knowing that when there is no birth, there is no aging and death. Knowing that in the past, birth led to aging and death. Knowing that in the past, when there was no birth, there was no aging and death. Knowing that in the future, birth will lead to aging and death. Knowing that in the future, when there is no birth, there will be no aging and death. Knowing that this knowledge of the stability of the Dhamma itself is subject to cessation, destruction, fading away, and ending. Knowing that existence leads to birth. Knowing that clinging leads to existence. Knowing that craving leads to clinging. Knowing that feeling leads to craving. Knowing that contact leads to feeling. Knowing that the six sense bases lead to contact. Knowing that name and form leads to the six sense bases. Knowing that consciousness leads to name and form. Knowing that volitional formations lead to consciousness. Knowing that ignorance leads to volitional formations. Knowing that when there is no ignorance, there are no volitional formations. Knowing that in the past, ignorance led to volitional formations. Knowing that in the past, when there was no ignorance, there were no volitional formations. Knowing that in the future, ignorance will lead to volitional formations. Knowing that in the future, when there is no ignorance, there will be no volitional formations. Knowing that this knowledge of the stability of the Dhamma itself is subject to cessation, destruction, fading away, and ending. Bhikkhus, these are called the 77 cases of knowledge. The fourth sutta. This sutta mainly discusses the Buddha's profound insight into cause and effect relationships, particularly emphasizing the connections between each link in the 12 links of dependent origination and the universality of these relationships across past, present, and future. At the same time, the text points out that this wisdom itself is impermanent and will eventually disappear. Such understanding helps practitioners to cut off attachments and achieve liberation. For a detailed and vivid explanation of the 12 links of dependent origination, please refer to Samyutta Nikaya 12, Suttas 1 and 2, which will not be explained again here. Let's delve deeper into the profound implications of this second discourse on cases of knowledge. 1. Analysis of the opening background. When the Buddha was teaching in Savatthi, he particularly emphasized the importance of the 77 cases of knowledge. The phrase, "listen carefully and pay close attention," demonstrates the importance of the content, requiring the audience to be fully focused and to receive the teachings with an open and attentive mind. 2. Wisdom of the cycle of birth and death. First, it explains the universal truth that birth leads to aging and death, revealing the impermanent nature of life. Through the reverse argument that when there is no birth, there is no aging and death, it points out the possibility of liberation. By extending this theory to the past, present, and future, it shows that this is an eternal and unchanging truth. 3. Deep analysis of the 12 links of dependent origination. The text demonstrates the complete chain of the 12 links of dependent origination through a progressive approach. Existence, birth, clinging, craving, feeling, contact, sixth sense, bases, name and form, consciousness, volitional formations, ignorance. This chain reveals the root cause of existence, the source of suffering, the method of liberation. 4. The nature of wisdom. The text specifically points out that this knowledge of the stability of the Dhamma itself is subject to cessation, destruction, fading away, and ending, which reveals all cognition is impermanent. One should not be attached to wisdom itself. Even the highest wisdom should not be viewed as eternal. 5. Inspiration and reflection. The nature of life. Why are we born? Why do we die? What is the meaning of life? How to face birth and death? The universality of cause and effect. Every present moment is both cause and effect. Each of our choices influences the future. How to make wise choices. Levels of wisdom. Knowing the appearance of things is elementary wisdom. Understanding the essence of things is intermediate wisdom. Transcending attachment to wisdom is higher wisdom. 6. Modern implications. In today's fast-paced society, this sutta reminds us to slow down and observe cause and effect. Reduce attachments, including attachment to knowledge. Seek true inner peace. 7. Guidance for practice. This sutta provides clear guidance for practitioners. Observe the nature of life. Understand the law of cause and effect. Cut off habitual attachments. Move towards true liberation. Through this sutta, we can see the profundity of the Buddha's wisdom. It is not just a theoretical system, but more importantly, a practical guide directing us to attain true liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This wisdom transcends time and space, pointing directly to the human heart, allowing us to find a path to purity and liberation in the complex modern life.